Hi all, it's Streaming Felicia here, and today I'm going to talk a little bit about iTunes and what it would look like in the 80s and 90s and some limiting factors. So, what iTunes is, it's a music software application that's designed to store music. It puts music in playlists, you can add or delete music, and iTunes has a lot of new features nowadays, like you can stream music, you can purchase music, you can have an account and then you can listen to your music on a variety of Apple devices. iTunes is an application, but I'm going to go reimagine it as a website for the purposes of this video. So, interestingly enough, iTunes hasn't really changed over the years from 2001, from when this screenshot was taken, to now, which this is my actual music library, so I've made it small enough as to not embarrass myself with my choice of not very great music. Um, if we go to the 80s, we can see that we have a command prompt website, so you can see that's not very sophisticated, at least compared to now. There's just a list of text songs, and one could click on it and probably wait forever to have it to download some beeps, which we'll call music, and maybe a FAQ. That's just a list of words, just a lot of words and whatnot. It's not very great, but at least we can download our songs just like iTunes would allow us to. Wouldn't be able to make a playlist quite yet. And I say that there's only a couple of songs that we'll be able to rotate over because storage is so expensive. If we look at this, how expensive storage is, if we can look at the beginning of the 1980s, you can see that we've progressed quite a lot from the beginning of the 1980s to the end of the 1980s. See that we have 26 megabytes at the beginning in January. That would be $193,000 per gigabyte versus at the end, we'll see 89. It's only 12K. I say only 12K, which is why we're having the rotating playlist. Because goodness, if we could afford that amount of money for ripped off songs. I also, the internet wasn't very fast. See, in the 1980s, have 50 kilobytes per second. I mean, we can compare this with the Google Fibers we have now with that is like 1 gigabyte a second, which is nuts. See that how fast it is. So we have 1 kilobyte, or not 150, and then we have 56. So we can see at the speed. So in the 90s, we're traveling the 90s for a bit. It would take 10 minutes to download a not very great quality song. And it's not that fun, well, at least compared to now. And then we'll look at the 90s as well. The 90s, I would imagine iTunes to kind of look like this old Yahoo in 94. Maybe we can have some categories for music and one can click on the musics and have it downloaded. But as I said before, it would probably take, 10 minutes to download a song? Not very fun, but at least we have a funner interface that everyone can understand and see. Also, computers back then, and less people had computers. Computers were more expensive. I think like there was a huge boom because there was a $400 computer or whatnot that got released in the 80s that got really popular. You can see how expensive storage was and how slow internet was back then, which are huge constraints. And nowadays, well, have this. I could just download it and it would take maybe a second. Boom, it's done. Thank you. That's it for this video. If you want to learn more and whatnot, always ask questions.